Why do hybrid and electric cars have to have these weird little transmission levers? I know that this is 2018, so most cars that aren't hybrids, like I'm just using a Nissan Sentra for example, it may have this weird little transmission rotary dial thing or whatever. You have to push it or park it somewhere in the gauge cluster or whatever, or you have to, go on the screen and push for each little button, or you don't have to do that. In normal automatic transmission cars, it's just a normal gear shifter. You pull it into whatever you want it to be in. You want it to be in reverse, you pull it until it's in R. You want it in neutral, and it's none of this little dinky little buttons or switches or having to go into the infotainment system and go into transmission and just select or park, reverse neutral driver. None of that crap. You just had normal little transmission gear. But hybrids are the ones I'm talking about today. Hybrids are rather interesting, and I'm talking about Priuses. These Priuses have weird little gear levers where you have to push the button to be in park, and then you have to pull down twice and to the left to be, reverse, or go to the right and then up twice and then to the left and then to the, to get into drive. All you have to do is just, I'd rather push a button than to have to, figure out which gear you're in by having to go twice to the left, and that's just too confusing. All you have to do is just push a button or select the gear normally. You don't have to do any of that other crap. But the reason I bring this up is because hybrid cars specifically have this issue. Why do you have to have this? Why are Priuses like this? Chevy Volts and Bolts or whatever. All electric cars are like that, unless you're in Tesla, and then you have this weird column shifter like you're in a 1966 Mustang or, whatever. Or in a GMC Sierra. All you have to do is just push a button, or, you don't have to do anything else. But you guys know what I'm talking about. Those little transmission things that you have to go twice to the left and then reverses down twice, and then you have to go to the right and then back down 3 times or whatever. And if you have a Prius, if you have any other hybrid or electric car, you probably know what I'm talking about. And you're probably used to it. You're probably immune to it. But if you have an Impala or whatever, you have to really be focused if you're buying a Prius or if you're renting a Prius or whatever, because those little shifters are the most weirdest things ever. I know this is 2018, like I said, and soon minivans are going to be able to have those little dials or whatever. Honda's resorting to you just push a button and then you're in a certain gear, which is interesting and smart. It's not new or anything. Some other cars had that, but that's not necessarily common either. So my main problem with this is why. Like, there's no reason to why these people are doing it. It's not like, it's not like it's some weird thing that only hybrids do because it saves gas or whatever. It's not because of that. If it's because of that, that's something I didn't know, but it's more than likely not because of that. I don't know why they do this. It may save gas, I don't know, because only hybrids and electric cars do it, if we're being honest with ourselves. So that must mean that maybe if you have your little Nissan Leaf, that may save just a half a mile of that extra range. So if you're if you happen to be stuck a half mile from your house or a half mile from the charging station, oh, don't worry. That's what that extra half mile is for. That's what the gear level is for. Which, it may make sense, but because if you think about it, Dodge Chargers or any other automatic transmission car has that, so it must mean something. And it may not mean, it may not mean that. I don't know what it means. I'm just guessing. Because there's no way. There's no way. That these cars are just going to have these weird little gear shifters. I mean, you don't need the gear shifters like that. I mean, you can, you can just have regular gear shifters, but people don't like those. Those are becoming too boring, or, and so now we're having these weird gear shifters in other cars, and we don't need those. I'm just saying, if you're going to have a weird gear shifter, it's because it's a stick shift. It's not because this is an automatic and all you have to do is just put it in drive or whatever. But it's not just the gear shifters that are weird. In Volvo XC90, or at least the newer ones, you even have this start stop. It's not a button, it's more of a switch or dial or something. And I'm not even going to ask about that. I'm not. But, these cars need to... I want an answer to why they do this. It's not just because they do it, or... it has to be something. You can't just say, oh yeah, I just have this weird gear shifter for no apparent reason. Because that would make no sense. Most people... I'm going to be honest, if you're new to this Prius thing, even if you do have a 2018 Honda Civic, and it's not the little buttons I was talking about earlier, you still have to be thinking. Because if you're, like I said, if you're new to the Prius, and you have some normal automatic transmission car, you're not going to be able to just plop it into drive like you do in any others. You're going to have to be thinking, oh, how do I get into drive? What do I, because now, of course, in most cars, it's not that hard. It's no secret code to only get into drive. Now, there might be one idea that I just came up with. Maybe it's anti-theft. I don't know who would want to steal a Prius in the first place, but if you happen to have a stolen Prius, you probably won't know how to work the transmission. And so you'll be sitting there like an idiot at a red light trying to figure out what to do. But you won't be able to. Because there's no way. Of course, you're probably going to figure it out eventually. Oh, so I just go twice down and then to the right. Okay, yeah. Now, some people don't mind that. Others, if you don't, you have to mind it if you don't have a Prius, or you don't mind it if you have a Prius because you're used to it, and you won't just buy a Prius and not be used to that little gear lever. But that's my idea of why the theory of, those little transmission levers are like that. It makes no sense. It's so vexatious. I don't like it, and I'm sure people who have a Prius just put up with it because they have a Prius and they have no other way of getting the car in drive. But those are my theories as to why the transmission lever is like that. I hope you guys enjoy it, and I will see you in the next video.